Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Ladypreneurs Freedom Seekers Live TV. I shortened it. It became the Freedom Seekers Live TV. So, with another episode, with another guest, another ladypreneur who's going to tell us a little bit about her business, and the idea behind these episodes is to inspire you to go through the hurdles, through the more difficult times, and see really how fun it is to do online business. But sometimes we need a little help or a little inspiration. My next guest, she is a branding and marketing strategist. She has two children. She has an 11-year-old girl and a 7-year-old boy, and they are on summer holiday already. So she loves to go to the beach. She just told me because we just met, and she loves to do her inspiration on the beach. She is helping entrepreneurs get more clarity in their business, helping to brand themselves and their message. And she served 10 years in the Navy, where she was an information system technician. So I want to talk about that. And so I'm going to see how she can inspire us to become better in our business. So, with no further ado, here is Shanta Prince. Do I pronounce your
No,
name right, Shanta?
you did a great job.
Okay, thank you. How are you? And welcome.
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me today.
So, Shanta, tell us a little bit more about you than I just did in the introduction. So, you were in the army, in the navy, for 10 years. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I did 10 years on active duty in the Navy. I had a really great career. I spent a lot of time on board ships and overseas and met some of the most awesome people. My job in the Navy was information systems technician, just like you said. So that means that I work with computers and technology and internet and all kinds of communication systems. And now I really stand on my knowledge and experience from all of my technical expertise to help my clients to get through the technical difficulties. Like you said, sometimes there's some difficult things that come along with business, and sometimes we need a little help to get through those things. So now I use my technical expertise to help my clients navigate through those things.
And have you always been so entrepreneurial, or was it something that you discovered that you had that in you? Is it because you were a technical engineer? Often, maybe that is assuming something, but technical doesn't always mean extrovert being into business. Yeah, in general, we see technical persons that are behind their computers and so on. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that start? How did you discover that you were an entrepreneur and so on?
It actually was a really long and tough journey because when I got out of the Navy, I had a really difficult time finding out who I am without my uniform. And
Okay.
so that's just like with any life transition. You have to figure out who you are without that thing that you had. And so
Yes.
for me, it was finding out who is Shanta without the uniform. And so
Okay.
I went on a journey of praying and seeking God and just really trying to understand who am I and what am I put here on this earth to do? So I started to discover that I really enjoy teaching, just like just like right now. I love teaching, I love speaking. And so then I discovered that I could actually make a living. I could actually make money doing it. And
Hmm.
so that's how the business started because I realized that I can actually do what I love to do and I can make money doing it. So now I don't have to choose between doing what's purposeful for me and doing what's profitable. I can do what's purposeful and profitable at the same time. So that
That,
brought me to today.
yeah, that's the best, because then it doesn't feel like working, isn't it?
Exactly.
So, you were in the Navy, you became an entrepreneur. Um, did you go online immediately, or did you start it offline first as a coach?
I started online immediately because remember I had the strong technical experience. So I built my own website and I started building online. I started learning how to leverage the power of social media. And that's exactly why I teach what I teach today because social media gives us so many opportunities to connect with people. It's the only place where we can go and connect with people from all over the world instantly. And
Yeah.
so that's the power of building a brand online, is that you can connect with your ideal clients and your customers very quickly, and so that's why I really enjoy talking about building that brand presence online, because that is how you're going to increase your brand power, increase your reach, and stay connected with your customers and clients.
Okay, we know what branding is, but I can imagine that there are a lot of ladies out there, because sometimes we are talking a lot of techno babble because we
Right.
are so used to it, and but it hasn't been always like that. Also started at day zero with zero followers and zero post experience and zero knowledge about all those technical words. What is branding?
So you are absolutely right, Monique. Everybody has to start from the beginning. We all start with zero followers. We all start from where we are, and that is with nothing. And then we begin to build this brand. And what a brand really is, even though there's a lot of different opinions about what a brand is, and I always talk about how when you work with someone who works in the branding space, you really have to find out what part of branding they work with, because you have people who do brand design, you have people who help you with brand image, and there's a lot of different components to branding.
Mm-hmm.
But branding is actually a promise. It starts with a promise, okay? And so the area of branding that I specialize in is the brand messaging. Those are the words that you use, the marketing language that you use around your brand. And so your brand starts with a promise, which means what outcome do you say you can help your people to achieve? And a brand can be whether you're a service provider or whether you sell a product, because the product that you sell promises some kind of outcome. So
Mm-hmm.
every brand is built up on a promise. And the way that our audience is there, the way that they're judging our brand or determining what our brand is about, is they're looking at how well we keep the promise that we said that we can do.
Yeah.
So if you say, like what I say is, I help my clients to create high ticket coaching offers, and I help them to build their personal brand, and I teach them how to get paying clients. So if I say this is the outcome that I can help you to achieve, now my audience is looking to see if I can actually do what I say I can do. So
Mm-hmm.
they're looking at that promise and how well I maintain that promise.
Mm-hmm.
So branding is the process of reinforcing your promise to your audience so that they come to know that you can actually do what you say you can do. So
So you
everything
mean
you
the
do from
being congruent in your message?
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
exactly. So you want your actions to add up with what you promise, and everything that you do around your brand is branding, but it should always everything that you do for your brand should go back to your promise. It should be rooted in and in alignment with the promise that you make.
Oh, wonderful. But um, branding is important. Is it also important when you just start? What is your opinion on that?
Absolutely. I think that branding is important in all aspects of business. And I will say that your brand should be alive. It should be a living thing, meaning your brand grows as you grow. So you start from where you are and you begin to build a brand. And as you learn more and as you get better, then you can pivot. You can pivot your brand, and your message is going to get better. It's going to get stronger, and you're going to become even greater at what it is that you do. But everybody has to start somewhere and give ourselves that grace to be able to grow and develop.
Yeah, that is so true. Because sometimes people think, well, I don't have anything to say. I just start. Where do you start if they are completely green? So, for example, there's a lady watching us today, and she says, "Okay, I really want to create some extra income, or I really want to become a coach,
Mhm.
but I have nothing to say. I'm not special. Everything that we women tell ourselves. I'm not
Right.
special. I have no following. How can I start? How do you take such a wonderful lady by the hand and say, okay, let's do this?"
So I always suggest starting from within, right? Because just like a fruit has the power to grow from within because it has a seed in it.
Hmm.
All of us have a seed of greatness inside of us, and we all have a story. And a lot of times when you're in the coaching space or when you're in the mentorship space and you're coaching or mentoring someone, the most powerful messages come from our lives. That's why everybody has like a beautiful message, because all of us have different lives. We have different stories, we have different experiences, and all of that goes into making an amazing brand. So what I would do is I would help her find her message by looking at her life, because many times as coaches and mentors, our clients are just like us a few steps ago. Even
Yeah.
if it was just one step ago, our clients, they're who we were. And
Yeah.
so we want to help them to get to where we are now. So the truth is looking inside of yourself and finding out what your story is, finding out what your message is, and then helping people to overcome the same obstacles that you overcame.
Oh, that is so. Have you seen the movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio?
I have not seen that.
You should. I'm not. I don't watch a lot of TV, but this is a real life story about a man who was a criminal and a con artist. But when he was captured by the FBI, they asked him how it was possible that he could teach classes for almost a year, I think, at
Wow,
university. And he said the only thing I had to do was I had to be one or two chapters ahead of my class.
that's so true.
And that is so true for everything in life. You can start teaching something that you already overcame, or
Yes,
you're already on the journey to learning. And those, like you said, it's so important. Those first steps. There are people that have not even started yet.
yes.
So true what you said. So these last 28 months, how have they been of influence on your business? And what did you do to pivot to change, or didn't you have any influence on your business at all?
It did. The last, as soon as COVID started, I think it was really shocking for all of us because we were just trying to figure out what was going on and what our futures are going to look like. But for my business during the pandemic, my business actually brought in more money than I ever brought in business. And the reason why is because the pivot that I made, it really wasn't, I wouldn't say a pivot, but it was really more of a rising up, because
Okay.
I believe that, we have options when things happen, when terrible things happen. We have two options. We could sink down in fear, or we can rise up in service. And
Hmm.
so during that time, that is exactly
That's
what I
beautiful.
did. I rose up in service and I started serving people, and I started helping people with their messages, and I helped them to create their offers, and I helped them to get clear on their brand so that they can go and generate income. And so during that time, that was when my business was really bringing in more income than than I ever had before. So it was a huge breakthrough for me during that time.
Okay. Did people react differently?
I think that the thing is with the pandemic, I think it caused a lot of people to look at what they were doing and start to realize, okay, wait a minute, life is short. People were losing loved ones, people were losing their jobs, and so people were really in a place where they're saying, okay, I know I can't depend on my job anymore, so I need to do something different so that I can have the power over how much money I'm making. And so I think that it caused more people, especially women, to say, okay, it's time now. So if I've been
Yeah.
waiting to start my business all this time, now is the time for me to start, because the pandemic has shown us that we can't always depend on a job, but we can always depend on what we're able to do to generate income ourselves.
So true. It wasn't it for many people kind of an eye opener that we
Mhm.
have to be more dependent on ourselves and not dependent on other things, stuff, whatever that we were counting on before. Because that is something that I found an eye opener, that we cannot count on everything. We already knew tomorrow the world we could die or whatever, but now I found many more people. So okay, I need to do something that secure my future. Did
Yeah,
you see that also in your business?
absolutely. I think more people started to take charge of their own lives, and they wanted something that they could do instead of building their lives around a job. They wanted something that they can do, and they can just live life and still be able to generate income without feeling constricted or restricted and not able to move and do the things that they enjoy doing. So that's why so many people wanted to work from home or start a business that enables them to have that laptop lifestyle where they can be on a beach like we were talking about how much I love being on the beach. They could be closing sales right from the beach.
Yes.
So I think just the biggest thing was, okay, life is short and I want to do something that's more purposeful and meaningful for me.
Yeah, that is so. I love that how you say that. So I imagine that you have no problems in your business. You never had it. Everything went smooth. There weren't hurdles in your business, or did you sometimes have some hurdles to overcome?
Oh yeah. a
Yeah, yeah. That's
lots
does
of
that happen
hurdles.
for you too?
Right. It's difficult. I say that all the time. I'm like, everybody has difficult times in business. So if you're struggling in business, you are not alone. We all have different struggles. Even when you make your first 10,000, when you make your first 20,000, when you make your first 40,000, like there's struggles like at every place in business. But I think that as entrepreneurs, we're wired to overcome them if we're willing to just open our eyes and say, okay, where's the opportunity in this struggle? Because I believe that with every struggle, there's some type of opportunity for growth. There's some opportunity to pivot. There's some opportunity to do something different. So if we change our perspective and put on the lenses of opportunity and start looking for, okay, this is a difficult time, but where's the opportunity where I can grow? Where's the opportunity that I can do something different?
What would be an because you have how do I say that? Because I absolutely do not want to hurt somebody's feelings, but um sometimes entrepreneur no not sometimes often entrepreneurs are always seeking for those solutions because we know that things can happen, we know that we have to adapt. But if you are not born an entrepreneur, if you have no entrepreneurial skills, or maybe you are not in an entrepreneurial environment, that can be difficult sometimes, especially when you're maybe not surrounded by people that are supporting you, but you want to start something. How would you suggest to people that have difficulties finding that opportunity? And that doesn't mean that they find another business, just the opportunity to overcome the hurdle and to continue. What would you suggest to them that they do to find that?
I think that we all have things that we go through in life that prepare us for where we are right now. And even sometimes when I face a difficult moment in business, I always ask myself, okay, there has to be something in my life that I overcame that has prepared me for this moment. And it doesn't have to be like the big shiny, the biggest shiniest things, but it could be something like when we talked about how when I got out of the Navy and I really struggled to find my purpose without my uniform. That was a big
Yeah.
obstacle. But I had to look back over my life and say, okay, what are the things that I have endured that has brought me to this point? There's something
Beautiful.
in you that can help you to overcome what you're facing. And you have to just think about that. Like, okay, what have I been through or what have I already overcome that has prepared me to overcome this hurdle that's in front of me right now? And we all have traits, we all have different characteristics about ourselves that can strengthen us in entrepreneurship, but those strengths are going to be different. Like for me, my strength is in my determination. But someone else, their strength may be maybe they're very great at focusing and maybe they can
Mhm.
focus in on what that problem is and overcome it that way. But we all have different tools and different characteristics that are already built in us that empower us to overcome obstacles, but we're all going to overcome obstacles differently.
I
How I
love that.
overcome obstacles is not going to be how you overcome an
No,
obstacle.
no,
And
no.
that is the truth, is just accepting that we're different and overcoming the way that we overcome.
That is so. I never thought about that. You made me think, because finding something in your past that you already overcame that can help you in this struggle now. That's really beautiful because that is something that you know. Then that is familiar for
Yes,
you. Then okay, that's great. So you're a mom. I imagine
yes.
that your children are always quiet, never yell. They are always nice. They when you're working, they don't disturb you. How you do you juggle the mom side with your business, because they are now on summer vacation for 2 months?
Yes.
That mustn't be easy all the time. Do you
It's
have a
not
trick?
easy. It's definitely not. My kids are actually really good. They actually, like right now, they're being quiet. They're watching a movie and they have the dog and he's being quiet. But there was one time when I was on a live video when my son was smaller and he busted into my office and he came in during my live video. So I picked him up and I put him on my lap and I said, "Hey, everybody, this is Solomon." And I just introduced him to the audience and nobody really cared. They just wanted the valuable information. And I believe that sometimes we just have to roll with things. One of the great things that the pandemic has done for us is it's really put us in a space where I don't think too many people are concerned if your kids are doing things in the background because we all have kids
Yeah.
and things just happen. And so many people, when they transition to working from home, it's like, okay, listen, I'm working from home. My kids are everywhere. I'm doing the best that I can. I don't think too many people are concerned anymore if your kids are in the room or if they interrupt because we all understand that this is life
Yeah.
and we just have to roll with it and keep going.
It makes us human because that way my son when he was younger he's now 17 but I think he was 11 something like that and he used to video bomb me so that he became
Yeah.
and sometimes I didn't even see him unless he was already behind me so and sometimes I was a little bit not annoyed but I was like, oh, what other people think? That is something I had to learn
Mhm.
years ago, and now I think we have children, life is life, and they have to understand. And if not, maybe then it's not the right audience or the right person for me. But that is sometimes a question of sometimes, often a question I hear from moms. I don't have the time. I have children that are still small. I
Mhm.
wait until they are older, but that really isn't necessary. Yeah, you just have to start. So. We are already going fast.
Let's
The
go
time
back.
is running. So for your business, I don't know you. We just met, but I have
Mhm.
the impression that you are, and I mean that before I was a bit laughing, but that you are an organized person. For your business, what are 3 to 5 non-negotiables that you need to do on a daily basis that brought you really the success to the success you have today? Is there something that you can share with us?
So this is the interesting thing that my non-negotiables are actually not directly related to my business. So the
Okay.
things that I do every single day, my non-negotiables are for me to take care of myself so that I can be better at business and be better at being a mom. So some of the things
Mm.
that I do every day, I work out 6 days a week.
Well,
And I just talked about this yesterday how I exercise because it helps me to relieve stress and it helps me to be more creative. And sometimes I don't feel like working out, but I do it because I know that it needs to be done. And that's what discipline is all about. It's about doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it,
yeah.
right? And so
Mm.
I still get my exercise time in 6 days a week
Wow.
because I need to do that for myself. The other thing that I make sure I do every day is I take time to pray because my faith is what inspires me, it's what fuels me. So I take time to pray and I take time to read the scriptures. The other non-negotiable for me is for my family. So if I feel like my business is taking too much of me away from my family, then I have to shut some things down because the whole reason why I started my business is for them so that
Yeah.
I can have the freedom to be able to have more choices for them. So I don't allow my business to take so much out of me that I don't have time for my
For
family.
them. Hmm. Oh, wonderful. So I think that is important because if you empty too much your cup, then nobody else is going to fill it for you.
Right.
So then yeah, I think you're totally right. Before we started, you asked what I meant with, do you have a particular lesson to teach to the audience? I think you gave already a lot, but
Yeah.
is there something that is really near and dear to your heart that you say, okay, I really want to share this with your audience?
So I'll just talk about briefly. We talk about branding and we talked about creating that promise. Some of the things that I've learned over time is the importance of really getting clear on that brand messaging. So I'll just give some quick tips around that. First of all, getting clear on your brand messaging right now is so important because even after like coming off of dealing with the initial shock of the pandemic, even though we're still dealing with it. But lots of people are on the go now. It's summertime, the kids are out of school, people are on the go. But in addition to that, there's just a lot going on in the world.
Yes.
And because of that, people do not have long attention spans. So if we're going to want to market to people and connect with people, our messaging has to be clear and it has to grab the hearts of our ideal clients. And so brand messaging is really important because no one has the time. And if you're not clear, they're going to keep overlooking you because no one really understands what you do or what your promise is. So really think about what that brand messaging is going to look like for you and how you can really focus on clarifying that. One way to clarify that, which leads me to my second point, is to talk to your audience. That
Hmm.
is one thing that I thought about when we were talking about the initial flow of today. Is one of the biggest things that changed for me from my business during the pandemic was I used to do everything through Facebook ads, and I would run advertisements, but now I do a lot of things organically, meaning I'm actually talking to my people. I talk to my audience. I'm in the messages with them. I know what they're struggling with. I know what they're going through. And that helps me to understand what to offer to them because I'm actually communicating with them. So that's another really huge tip that I can leave you with today is to talk to your audience, engage with them, find out what they like, find out what they don't like, find out what their struggles are. And most importantly, find out how they explain things. How do they articulate things? Because if you're explaining it differently than them, then they may miss the message. So
Yeah,
you want to make sure you're saying it how they say it so they can actually get the message.
that's
And
a
then
good one.
finally, focus on the quality of your followers, not the quantity, right? So
Yeah,
when we talk about strong online presence, a lot of times we think about the numbers. Oh, I want a big following. And I will tell you that you can do a lot with a smaller following of people who are actually interested in what you offer than you can do with a large audience of people who don't care about what you offer. So it's
yes.
really important to think about the quality of who you're bringing into your audience, not focusing on the big numbers, but focusing on actually bringing in people who are interested in what you offer.
Yeah, that's so true. You see that, for example, on TikTok. People are going to TikTok. It's low-hanging fruit. There's a lot of going on there. But you may have fast your 2, 3, 5, 10,000 followers or
Mhm.
friends, but they are not your audience. They are just
Right.
people that say, okay, okay, okay. And if you don't engage with them, how you can do on Facebook, because I'm totally on that same page with you. You have to connect with your people. You have to give them valuable information, and you have to speak to them, because then you become human to them, and that is the way that they are going to relate to you, because they don't
Mhm.
relate to somebody they don't know. So that is I wonderful tips. Thank you very much. So Shanta, we are all already on the almost on the end of this interview. Where can people reach out to you if they have some questions? Where can they find you? You also have a group. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I have a Facebook group. It's called Purpose Driven Coaches and Entrepreneurs. I go live there every Thursday and I teach on topics around branding, sales, marketing, and anything around helping you to get brand clarity, build and build that online presence and actually get some paying clients. So and I'm also there. That's where I engage with my audience at and really get an understanding for what they need right now. So you can find me at Purpose Driven Coaches and Mentors in that free Facebook group.
Oh, wonderful. So I will put the link into the comments so that people can click on it and can go to the group. So do you have some last words of wisdom? You already shared a lot, but maybe you said, okay, I want to leave it with these words.
So one thing I can leave you with is one of my favorite quotes. The first time I heard this, it was from Les Brown, and he
Oh, I love
said,
him.
You don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started in order to be great." And
Yes.
so when I heard that, I said, that is so powerful. Like, I don't have to have everything. I don't have to be a guru. But in order for me to become that, I got to start somewhere. And so I love that because it really inspires people to just start from where you are, start with what you have, and then move forward from there. And you're going to grow and you're going to unlock that greatness as you go.
That is so true. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to put it under your this one. Where is it? Yes. because that is, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great or to
Yes,
become great. Les Brown, he is very inspirational. What that
yes.
man already overcame at his age, he's almost 80 if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. So I love listening to him. He's always inspiring, and how fun is he at the same time. So
Right.
so Shanta, thank you very very much for everything you gave us today, because you were very generous. I thank you for that, and I hope to talk to you soon. So lots of success. Have a great summer vacation with
Thank
your
you.
kids, and we connect soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Wasn't she amazing? I love talking to her. Wow, how you can connect with people, like she said, over the internet, all over the world. She's in the United States in Georgia, and I am here in Belgium, and we can connect as if we're in the same room. That is what I love about these lives, about the internet, about Facebook, how we connect. So she talked about branding, the importance the importance of branding, the words that you use, how to do this in your business. And I really suggest that if you want to know more about that, that you go to her Facebook group so you can learn more from her. For now, I wish you all the best, and we will see each other next week, Wednesday, for another episode of the Freedom Seekers Live TV. Bye for now.